In front of me, we have a selection of our favourite full-face motorcycle helmets for this year. We're going to go through category by category. We've got all sorts of different price points covered as well, so we should have something to cater to everyone. First up, we have one of our favourite flip-up helmets from a brand who do quite a few different flip-up designs, and it is the NOLAN in front of me here. This is the N100, although they also have the N90 at a slightly more affordable price. The N120, which actually the chin bar rotates all the way around to the back, so it is slightly different from the rest of their options. Or the X1005, which is a carbon version and uses more premium materials. The reason we've chosen the N100, however, is that it's on the more affordable side of this spectrum. It sits in a lovely little middle ground, and for a modular or flip-up helmet, it is particularly affordable, I think, in comparison to a lot of the other options on the market. These come in at a starting price of around £320. One of the reasons they're able to come in at a more affordable price in comparison to some is the fact that they use a polycarbonate shell, which isn't quite as premium a material, although as I mentioned, they do a carbon version if you do want to spend a bit more. Personally, I don't think I would though, because this has all the same features, it's just that it uses that polycarbonate shell, and realistically, it's said that that adds a little bit of weight, although it's not that noticeable, to be honest, and even less noticeable when you've got a heavy helmet like this anyway. And when I say heavy, I mean in comparison to general full-face helmets, because it has more mechanism involved, and obviously that adds a bit of heft. Although, when it's on your head, it's still not what I'd consider necessarily a heavy helmet. It's certainly not distracting whilst you're wearing it. For reference, these come in at around 1,650 grams. And it's probably the only perceivable negative, if you like, of a flip-up helmet. The trade-off, however, is that they are a lot more functional because you can flip up that chin bar. And this is safety approved in both the open and closed position. You can lock it in place if you want to in the open position. For me, within the NOLAN range, I actually found these to have one of the most comfortable fits. It has a really plush liner on the inside, which is fully removable. And another benefit, I think, of flip-up helmets is that they can be a little bit tighter around your neck because you can get into them with the chin bar up. So they fit really snug around your neck, which improves soundproofing because airflow isn't gonna track up under the chin that easily in comparison to other general full-face helmets. This one is also particularly streamlined, as you can see from the visor, and it's worth mentioning that there's quite a wide field of view, although you will get slightly wider with other helmets I'll mention later on. This also comes with pin lock included, and it has an internal drop-down sun visor, which increases its versatility yet again. In comparison to a lot of other flip-up helmets, it has a particularly secure chin mechanism because you pinch it between your fingers, meaning you have to actually engage with it with two fingers to open it up. It's still really easy to use, but it means that in testing, it's actually been proven to be a little bit more secure than some other options. And in case that wasn't enough, you can get different accessories for this, including a center intercom system which integrates seamlessly with this, which you can also add a brake light to, their ESS brake light system, to the reverse of the helmet, which again integrates seamlessly. It's a really practical, versatile, and modern looking helmet at an affordable price. Next up, we have the best all-rounder, the JD1. What makes this helmet even more impressive is it's their first foray into making motorcycle helmets, and they have nailed it. They've come out swinging against the competition in pretty much every category. The reason it's called the One is that potentially this could be the one helmet to rule them all, in as much as it's incredibly versatile. You can configure this however you want using a variety of different accessories, ranging from peaks to different visors. They have blanking plates as well, and a strap on the back for goggles. They sell their own goggles, and those integrate really well with this, making it more of an off-road looking motorcycle helmet. There are a few different brands that do something similar to that, although none of them make such a classic looking shell. This is one of the simplest and most minimal designs I've seen in that category. Not content with doing something that no other brand is really doing, they've also come in at a very affordable price. As of the making of this video, they are £259. They have 9 different color choices. They do a carbon version as well. And when they were first introduced, and I believe that is still running, although they have said at some point they will stop doing this, they're including 2 visors when you buy it. So you'll get a tint that complements the overall look of the helmet, as well as a clear visor. That may well end in the future, but have no fear, you can still buy lots of different colored visors and customize this however you want. It's also one of the slimmest shells on this table and one of the slimmest looking motorcycle helmets. They make it in 4 different shell sizes, so that always helps keep the profile quite minimal. And it is relatively lightweight as well. I would say it is equal second lightest on this table. The medium we have here, for example, is 1,450 grams. Part of the reason for this will be the choice of composite materials for the shell. It uses a plastic reinforced fiberglass and carbon composite. As far as practicalities are concerned, you can't fit pin lock to this, although they have given it an anti-fog treatment to the visor, which actually, as far as anti-fog treatments go, is quite effective. Not my preferred method. I do prefer pin lock where I can get it, but it's still better than nothing. And they've got plenty of vents across it as well, so airflow actually is really good on this helmet. It is quite an open helmet as well on the chin, so you'll get plenty of airflow, potentially a great option for spring and summer. As far as visibility goes, it has got one of the largest field of view. It's very open, as you can see on the front, although it has a slightly thicker chin bar than the likes of the Bell Bullet, which originated this style. Incredibly versatile, incredibly popular as well. They have been doing well with our audience so far, and we do expect that to continue. If we're talking about iconic, classy-looking retro motorcycle helmets though, we have to mention the returning Bell Bullet GT. The newest version of the Bell Bullet comes in with a starting price of £435. There are 12 different color options, and they do carbon versions as well. It's such an iconic design, and you only have to look at the other brands that are doing similar styles to see what kind of an influence it's had on the industry. It's still one of our best-selling items of all time. The big USPs that carry over from the previous version are the simple minimalist design and shape, the huge field of view, and although there are a few different helmets that do similar kinds of styles, this is still the biggest field of view and is very similar to just wearing an open face helmet because you can't see anything really in your peripheral vision, and the chin bar doesn't get in the way either. You can go for loads of different tints for the visors, and it does look especially good with a dark tinted visor like this one. The improvements feature quite heavily around the visor, so the mechanism is a lot easier to get the visor off, so if you are switching between different tints, that is a lot easier on this, in my opinion. You have closable vents at your forehead. You don't have any vents on the chin, although you don't lose much as far as airflow goes because it is quite open on the front, and it has a tighter seal around the visor, which is better for keeping out rain as well as wind, which will make this slightly quieter than the previous version, but I still wouldn't consider this a quiet helmet necessarily. It is no better or worse than the other helmets in its category for soundproofing. They make most of them with a fiberglass shell, although the one on the table is a carbon fiber version, which is around 1,400 grams. The fiberglass version is around 1,500 grams, although in the hands it still feels lightweight and is very comparable to any of the other helmets here, especially the JD1. They're around the same sort of weight. It is still one of the most imitated motorcycle helmet designs, and with good reason. The next helmet on our list also has a classic look, and they are astonishing value for money. It's the Origine Omega, and they have a starting price of £89. The brand as a whole is a very affordable brand, and that is why it's our selection if you are on a tight budget. Now that does beg the question, why is it so affordable? Are there compromises to be found? And the answer is no, but I will add some balance to this discussion and say that obviously in comparison to more expensive helmets, the finish isn't going to be quite as premium as you'll find with some other brands. The features are going to be somewhat limited across it. The venting, for example, it has minimal vents across it. The visor is pretty basic. It hasn't got the capacity to fit pin lock, for example. It uses a thermoplastic resin shell in comparison to fiberglass options from other brands or composite materials. So obviously it's going to be a little bit heavier as well. And I think you get a more comfortable fit with some of the other helmets I'll mention here today. But it is still a really decent option, and that price cannot be ignored. It still astounds me how affordable they are. If your budget can stretch a little bit further, we've got another really great value for money option from BYCITY, the ROADSTER 3. These come in at £172. I think I saw 15 different color choices, but either way they've got loads of great different designs and carbon fiber versions if you prefer. Obviously being carbon fiber, this is going to be one of the lightest helmets on the table, but even the standard version I would say is comfortably one of the lightest, Also in that category, I would put the HJC, which I'll mention in a few moments. Both are around 1,400 grams. And considering the features and the comforts of the BYCITY, which I do think are an upgrade over the ORIGINE options, this represents for me the best value for money on this table. They make the majority of their line with a fiberglass shell in 2 different shell sizes. As you can see, it still has a retro look, very similar to the Bell Bullet, and is stiff competition for the Bell Bullet when it comes to visibility and the wideness of that opening. It's got quite a thin chin bar as well, much like the Bell Bullet, and it has got venting across it, which you can close on the chin bar, but not on the forehead. The liner is very soft, very plush, very comfortable. I love the fit on these straight out of the box. And what's great to see is they have an anti-fog solution in as much as they don't use pin lock, but they have their own version of it where you can attach that on the inside included, which will help a lot when it comes to visibility. It's a very difficult option to ignore if you like this particular style of motorcycle helmet. The next helmet on our list has a distinctly different style. It is quite blocky, dare I say aggressive looking, and it is the BILTWELL Gringo SV and has some of the best color choices available today. As of the making of this video, we have them in 7 different colors and they have a starting price of £249. It's a subtle improvement over their very simple Gringo without the visor, or the Gringo S, which has a visor. This one, of course, has the visor, but has the introduction of vents across it, so better airflow. But a similar quality of finish. It is slightly on the heavier side in comparison to the other helmets we've got on the table, though. These come in with a weight of around 1,600 grams because they use an ABS outer shell. And up until this point, I've left out the conversation around sizing and fit because all of the other helmets fit about the same. They're all a universal fit, they're an intermediate oval in terms of shape, and they're an accurate size. When it comes to the BILTWELL Gringo SV, what I find is that with a lot of helmets, I'm between 2 sizes, and if like me, you find yourself between a size medium or large, I would definitely favor the larger side when it comes to BILTWELL, because I find their sizing in general to be quite snug. Continuing that conversation around sizing though, our pick for most comfortable is the HJC V10. These have a starting price of around £260 and we have them in 10 different colours. We've always found these to have one of the most universally comfortable fits, thanks in part to their really plush liner, which includes emergency tabs for the emergency services, which makes it a lot easier to get your helmet off in the event of a crash. And they're made using a fiberglass composite shell, so they are also particularly lightweight. This one, for example, comes in around 1,400 grams, and in comparison to the rest of the helmets on this table, is easily one of the lightest. Some of the other features to mention are how easy it is to change visors. It has a toolless mechanism, very, very easy to use. One of the easiest I've come across actually, and incredibly secure as well because you just open the flap or the tab on the side there and twist it off. Obviously you can get different tints for the visor if you want to change it, and it comes with pin lock included. And if we're talking about accessories, you can also get an integrated intercom system that is made by Senna and pairs with this really, really well. It's an incredibly slim line in actual fact because part of it is recessed in the body of the outer shell. It also has decent venting at the forehead and on the chin bar. I think a particularly unique style as well. It's a very aggressive look. It does stand out from the crowd, and I really like the looks on this one, as well as the different color choices it comes in. And those are our favorite full-face motorcycle helmets for this year. But we do have more coming later in the year. Keep your eyes peeled and let us know your favorites in the comment section down below. I will see you soon.